Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell Podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Aaron Amthor, the head football coach at Onsted High School. How's it going?
Very good. How are you?
Doing well. So, let's talk about the how the summer went for you guys, and it's been a good first week of practice for you guys.
It has been a great week of practice, and I think it was contributing to the way that we prepared this summer. We utilized a lot of the 15 dates that the MHSA allowed us to have, installing offense and defense throughout the summer, preparing for our 7-on-7s in July, and the way that our kids work throughout this summer on the field in those installation days allowed for a great transition into starting first week of camp.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, let's just get right into it. Let's just talk about some of the guys that are going to be returning for your team this year and some of the guys that are going to be ones to watch this year. Let's start with the skill positions. Quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and the quarterback position's been interesting.
We'll start with that quarterback dilemma that every coach has, and in this case, it's somewhat of a good one for us. We have a senior quarterback right now, Hunter Kelly, who started 4 games for us last year as a junior and unfortunately was injured in week 4. And Luke Manders, who was moved up as a sophomore to replace him last year. He's now a junior. Those two have been battling it out at that position and doing a great job. It's definitely a problem for a good problem for a coach to have. As for our skill players, we return Aiden Paucan, who has been moved up since a freshman on varsity. Absolutely phenomenal athlete, great individual. He'll be one of our slot receivers, returning Quinn Hiram and JT Hill, who are outside wide receivers, both two-way starters last year, as well as Aiden. And Xavier Gibbs, who's a tailback, who was moved up as a sophomore. All those kids are coming in and have been working hard, doing a great job. And some of the newcomers to see is Griffin Amthor. He'll be one of the starting slot receivers. Not a newcomer, but still a contributing factor would be Cannon Rutofsky. He's also one of our slot receivers. And phenomenal speed out of all of those guys. Phenomenal athleticism out of all those guys. The big question for us will be our offensive line, but because of youth, we graduate our entire offensive line. So when we're looking at our offensive line, we've got some hardworking kids. Majority are juniors. Parker Briggs, who's actually going to be a sophomore. Brennan Conant, who is a senior. Alex Schmidt, who is a senior. And Weston Rumsey will be a junior. And Cam Kina, who's a senior, he was moved up as a sophomore as a wide receiver / tight end, and he played some tight end for us last year. He came in and he's going to play some guard for us this year, and he's doing a phenomenal job.
Yep.
Defensively, Colin Gherkin is going to be one of our anchor linebackers in the middle, along with Hunter Kangas, he'll be a sophomore that we brought up, who is playing in our opinion, it's somewhat of a junior elite level right now. The young man's done a phenomenal job. But overall, we've been very excited for our kids, and they're doing a good job.
Okay, so I know we let's kind of break this down by position. Where do you feel like you're really like offensive, defensive line? Where are we at in that?
We are a young offense and defensive line. Like I said, last year we graduated all of our seniors that played defensive line and offensive line. So those young men that are stepping in will be first-time varsity players, or they were rotational players last year. But that is definitely the spot that we have been working and building on throughout the summer.
Okay. And then linebackers and secondary. I know you mentioned a few of those guys, but where are we at in that?
I believe we have some of the very elite, phenomenal athletic individuals in the secondary and our wide receiver core. I'm going to throw the linebackers in there as well, because they're also tailbacks and tight ends on the other side of the football.
Absolutely.
We have very good speed and very good athleticism out there. It's going to be we're going to hang our hat on those guys out there.
Okay. All right, we talked about the players. Now let's talk about the schedule. I'll just read through it real quick. Of course, starting it off August 24th, you're going to be traveling to Napoleon to take on the Pirates. August 31st, first home game of the year against Hartford. September 8th, home against Adrian Madison. September 15th, home against Dundee. September 22nd at Hudson. September 29th, home against Ida. October 6th, home against Clinton. October 13th at Blissfield, and October 20th at Hillsdale. So pretty good schedule. Obviously, this is a very tough conference that we are in. The LCAA, known as the Lenawee County Athletic Association, always provides some pretty tough competition. What do you feel like the schedule is like for you guys entering this season?
It's a brutal schedule. It's I believe one of the best conferences in the state. Some of the best coaches in the state in this conference. I have a lot of respect for every single one of them. Looking forward to playing some other teams here, like with Napoleon, and Derek's done a phenomenal job with Napoleon. I've met him a couple years ago. He's a good guy and had a phenomenal run last year. Unfortunately for our week two Hartford canceled on us about 2 days ago. So we are open week 2, and we're looking for a week 2 opponent right now.
Okay.
And really for the rest of the schedule, the LCAA speaks for itself. It's a dogfight week in and week out, coached by some real good coaches.
Yeah. Okay. So are you actively trying to find an opponent for week 2?
Absolutely. We're actively trying to find an opponent. This late in the ball game right now, with, just really 3 weeks away from our week 2 opponent. We're trying to find one. Yeah, we've reached out to a couple teams in the state that we thought could have something, but they've already filled it, and we're also looking in Ohio.
All right. And really, what is this next week going to be like? I know we have the scrimmage as well, but really, what is this week going to be like for this team? What are you going to really focus on?
Us. That's the one thing we talked about. We talked starting the day 1 of the season. We aren't going to be worried about things that we cannot control. We cannot control Napoleon. We cannot control, well, obviously our week 2. We cannot control what it's going to look like or what we're going to be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But what we can do is we can control us. We can work on us. And that's our attitude, our work ethic. We improve every single day. That's what we're focused on. Just us.
Okay. All right. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, and best of luck to you guys this season.
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks for having us on the show.